Anyways, this video is about the Nintendo patent lawsuit that they've been doing against Pocket Bear. And this is, like, I guess at the start of when they got fucking finally overruled, saying that they weren't being creative enough. I still find it hilarious that frickin' Pocket Bear's Craftopia was one of the patents that were in there and were used against Nintendo's attempt to be more creative with this frickin' patent. Oh my gosh, you guys. In any case, let's see what Bellier's take is on this. I'm very curious. 3, 2, 1, boop.
Well, it's time for another fun gaming video about the law. I really do mean it. That's because Nintendo's patent war has hit critical moments on both sides of the Pacific, where something has happened in Japan, something has happened in America.
Okay, well, I actually don't recognize who... Wait, hold on, what?
Patent war has hit critical moments.
Sorry, I am
on
confused.
both sides
is this
of
a
the
new
Pacific,
game?
Where something has happened in Japan.
Yeah, this is a new game. It's gotta be.
And both of these events could reshape a lot of Nintendo's strategy. Over in Japan, a key patent application for the Pokemon mechanics just faced judgment from their patent office. And the reason...
Having played indie games and modding Skyrim abundantly recently, Pokemon game graphics just look shit. The funny thing is, Gen 9, I think that was Sword and Shield, actually had half-decent graphics. I'm not gonna lie. But then somewhere along the... I don't know what happened, but for the 10th game, they just downgraded. Like, I don't know what happened with that. I'm like, why couldn't you just maintain the fidelity you had established? What the fuck happened? I love seeing Pokemon ZA, not gonna lie. Oh, jeez. Kids are blind. I guess so.
For that decision is Ark Survival Evolved. Then, over in America, a previously granted patent, one that pretty much pissed all of us off, it is now being re-examined. But not just in some boring bureaucratic way, no.
I'm just glad that there are people in government who are actually seeing how stupid this shit is, and they're finally putting their foot down and saying, no, we actually do have to give a shit about this. I'm just glad to finally start fucking seeing it, because if this kept going, I think a lot more would be lost as a result. This would just keep going, and it wouldn't stop at all. Is it the chug? I really don't mind graphics, to be honest. Yeah.
The head of the patent office has intervened personally. That's a thing that rarely happens.
Yeah,
his
really.
target is Nintendo's patent on Scarlet.
I think it really helps is having someone who understands video games and get video game mechanics. But I think in this case, this was less of a issue with... So I don't know what the hell is happening here. Sorry, guys. There was less of an issue with, Oh my god, I forgot what I was saying. Either way, I'm still happy to see, the government actually stepping up and doing their fucking job.
And Violet's dual combat system. So with this going on, everything is now uncertain. The Nintendo legal team may actually be sweating, but the palworld lawsuit does still continue, though I would say that now...
Hey, hold on, what the hell? Did I just see a new pal? What the hell was that? Am I cooked?
Everything is now uncertain. The Nintendo
Did I miss a trailer?
Team may actually be sweating, but the palworld lawsuit does still...
Is that Quivern? That's a dark variant of Quivernelio? Wait. I didn't know that was a thing in the game. What? As long so Europe wake up to kick out Nintendo. Why does the head of the patent office have to personally intervene on legally obtained patents? Can't patent features and ideas that are present in existing products. Exactly, but the thing is, Nintendo was trying to push it thinking that no one would look. And for the longest time, people in the patent office itself weren't fucking looking or checking. Far right looks like Zekrom. I know, but it kind of looks like a modified fucking Quivern. Like, which patch did this come in from? Or is this a new teaser for a new update? Like, regardless, I'm hyped up for it. I probably will have to play palworld again soon.
Continue, though I would say that now...
Nintendo was weeks away from suing Bethesda over Atronach. Yeah, really. That's the thing, is that there was too many video games that utilize this feature. And even before Nintendo brought Pokemon to the fucking forefront, literally any game that had necromancy was up for debate, which is fucking insane.
Stakes have just got higher. Here's what you need to know for this video, right? Since last year, there's been a lot of talk over Nintendo versus Palworld. Essentially, Nintendo claims that Palworld...
Here's the thing. I hate to pause in the middle. I really hope Palworld wins this, and that when they do, they'll be able to bring back the mechanics that they had to change because of the lawsuit. Because, let me tell you something right now. Spawning a pal right next to me is so inconvenient. It makes it difficult to fight monsters at range. Especially when there's multiples of them. They added the nest mechanic, and then you can't even fucking fight the group reliably with your pal. Also, the glider mechanics were not as big of an issue, but still kind of sad. Because it feels less personal with the glider pals.
Infringed on 3 of their patents, and since that case started, we have seen constant activity. Palworld changed mechanics to get ahead of the lawsuit.
Right.
Nintendo then changed one of their patents to tighten their claims, and it's basically been tit for tat for months.
I think this alone should have had Nintendo's case thrown the fuck out. The fact that you have to change your fucking patent, that should have had your case thrown out. At that point, that's like, okay, you're fucking around with something. This shouldn't be... Something's up here. Nintendo was weeks away from suing, but... Oh, right, no, I read that, sorry. If only they would take away the Nemesis system, Warner Brothers... I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I'm gonna give you guys a spicy take here. Video game mechanics should not be copyrighted. At all. Period. I don't care. I'm tired of seeing this shit. It infringes on people's ability to create, and there's nothing really special about the Nemesis system, because it can be recreated pretty closely anyways without infringing. And the fucking dialogue thing for Mass Effect, there's a lot of other games that can do similar, sometimes even better. This shit's getting crazy. He's squirting once again. Yeah, listen, it's just a fact. It's... What they're essentially trying to do is, like, copyright words in the English language. It's like... You're trying to say that this exists because you use it in your brand. Shut the fuck up. But your dad should... Wait, what? You would think the Zillionaire company would make a better game than the Palworld guys. Yeah, no, it's actually been a very interesting... It's very much an underdog victory across the board right now, because... What's really been happening is these old dogs have been claiming territory and pissing all over the place for years. And they're not offering anything in return. And the young blood has a lot to offer, but they're not being given many opportunities, so they're kind of slowly but surely pushing their way up and forcing their way up, with the help of the people who see their efforts and want to push them up. So... Oh shit, good thing I love crime. Wait, what? Shut up. At that point, you better off just changing your name, Arska. No Man's Sky lawsuit over Sky trademark. Crazy. I don't think that'll happen, though. Video games are fundamentally art, and anything short of literal copy and paste is fair game. Basically, yes. Yep. I don't care for a lot of the direct clones that are, like vaguely skinned recreations of better games. At the same time, I'm not going to just say that you can't do it, because, you know, I feel like there have been some half-decent clones that came out that have some... They have some things that they do better than others. Oh, it almost did. Wait, what? Oh, yeah. I think Game Freak offered more unstable games, uglier designs of the story without no dub. Jeez. Yeah, I don't understand that too. See, the funny thing you mentioned that, Gronky, is because I used to be a big fan of playing the Yu-Gi-Oh games. Sometimes I'll go back to them. And a lot of the Yu-Gi-Oh games, they have, like, they don't even have dub, but they have, like, movements in the mouth. A lot of the older games did that, like the GBA games. But some of the games for higher consoles, like the PlayStation games, they actually do have dubbing, and the mouth doesn't fucking match what they're saying because it's just a fucking PNG. But that's still better than what Nintendo is fucking doing. It's crazy. But it was GBA, yes, but like PlayStation 3 games had dub and no matching, like, mouth. It was crazy. I don't remember which platform it was that I'm thinking of. It's Capsule Monster game. How so unlucky that this happened all the time. Generative AI becoming big. Yeah, that's another thing too. AI generation is really, like, these companies think they can survive on their own with that alone. They might be able to stay afloat, but I don't know about getting far. They gotta be innovative. Alright, anyways. We're yapping too long. I'm gonna get yelled at on YouTube for yapping too much.
Now, the case itself hasn't progressed in any meaningful way, but outside of the courtroom, the world has been paying attention.
Oh yeah.
Of course, paying attention to Nintendo's patent campaigns. Because if those go bad, it would be good for palworld and perhaps also good for the industry at large. Now, across the US and Japan, critics are scrutinizing Nintendo's legal tactics like never before.
Oh, absolutely.
But as we've explained previously, right? And this is a bit of a Western versus Japan.
I think this headline alone, whether you like or hate this person, I don't know anything about this person. And then again, it's a Bellular News, so it should be he should be fine. Sorry, I didn't see the title of the thing. But this fucking title... Ow. Hi, thank you for the tithe. Hello, Orsted. Also, reminding me that I need to do this real quick. Yeah, title like this has the potential to radicalize people. Because it's absolutely not a clickbait title. I mean, it kind of is, but the thing with these types of titles is that they're kind of clickbaity, but they are also very, very honest. This kind of shit pisses people off.
Kind of difference. Many of the big Japanese publishers...
Not the title, but the actual story behind the title.
Deploy this strategy, and they have done for years. It is just a part of how they do business, where, yeah, they patent the shit out of everything that they can.
What the hell is this game?
That means they can take someone to court or maybe get a lovely
Once
little
human, I don't know what's going on there.
For someone else using those mechanics. Well, it lets them recoup some costs from their competitors. Now, our last update in this story covered Nintendo's US patent grant. Critics widely decried it, I would say, rightly so. But today, turns out us all kicking up a stink seems to have delivered. But before we hit that...
Well, it is like Asmund says. Cry, scream, kicking, shitting, making a fucking fuss. Apparently, for whatever reason, acting like a petulant child over this shit has been working, for better or worse. It's retarded, I hate it, but it is what it is. If these companies will only respond by you acting like a child, then act like a child.
US situation. First, we need a jet off to Japan. Now, if you're like me, you've probably looked at some of the big channels like Johnny Harris or Vox.
Okay, this is a sponsor. We'll sit through these.
And cinematic B-roll. Well, today's sponsor, Storyblocks, is a big part of how you can actually get that in your own video production. And honestly, it's a bit of kit I wish I had years ago. And here's what it actually is.
Oh, is it stock photos?
It's unlimited
or stock video?
To stock video, music, sound effects, and, I think this is the kicker, After Effects templates. And these will let you punch way
This
above.
actually is something that's up my alley. I don't know if I'll actually do anything with this, but sometimes I have to, like, dangerously go find some free effects. Like, I know there's been a few times where I found, like, a confetti overlay for stream on special events, but yeah, usually it's on a questionable website. But at least I have a different website to look with.
You know, those smooth map animations, data visualizations, silky clean lower thirds. They're all there and in templates that you can customize rather than build from scratch.
Nice.
The best thing is it's all in one subscription. You download whatever you need, and basically just think about the sorts of shots that you couldn't normally get. Aerial cityscapes, inside data centers, historical footage, maybe abstract tech visualizations. Kind of things that would normally cost thousands to shoot or license traditionally.
I don't know if I'd ever really use stock images in my videos as a thing, because, like, unless it's for a meme, I don't really see a reason to rely on something like that. The alternative to tantrums is violence. True. Cough, cough, Luigi. Yep. And just grind up lyric and sprinkle over chat. Damn, that's crazy.
But with Storyblocks, you search, download in 4K, and suddenly your explainer
I don't know
has
about
got
4K.
the
I don't think I
production
need
value of
4K.
a proper documentary. And the licensing is
Yeah, I
completely
guess that's
clear
for more for
YouTube as well,
documentaries,
so
but
no
the
copyright strikes or demonetization surprises. It's a tool we've used before, and I know
Okay.
especially with some of the documentary
Okay,
style
so
things I'd
royalty
love
free,
to
that's
make,
the big selling
I'll
point.
be using it again. So whether you're starting out or just trying to level up your production, check it out at storyblocks.com.
Yeah, I don't think I'm one for documentaries, but this looks promising anyways. Maybe I'll consider something for like the special effects. Because I know sometimes it's easier to just kind of find whatever online and just slap it in my video. Stock images are great meme material, maybe. It depends on the meme though.
/Bellular, and the link is just down below.
Anyways,
Nintendo's
go
Japanese
support Bellular if you need something from Stockblock or Storyblock. Sorry.
patent program has just faced a crucial decision. It's patent 2024-031879. Rolls off the tongue. So this went before the Japanese Patent Office, and a specialist IP outlet called GamesFrey caught this one. And the patent itself covered the capturing and the battling of monsters and bosses. And here's the huge news. They actually denied the patent. And the reason was a lack of, quote, an inventive step.
Of course.
Now that is essentially patent law speak.
Literally, there were so many games that had these mechanics. And it literally extended beyond the monster capturing genre and into necromancy in games. It's fucking insane how far this thing reached. And it would have probably gotten so much worse if this didn't fail. Thank fucking God.
Or too similar to existing mechanics, where basically someone could naturally reach the same conclusion. And the game that was too similar was actually just Ark Survival Evolved. It turned out that the patent office took a look at Ark's paralytic arrows and the capture methods and just found that they were too close to what Nintendo had proposed. But it wasn't just capturing enemies. That's because the details around capturing
I think Ark might have been the next victim if they had succeeded against Palworld. Because even though Craftopia exists, it's not as popular. Quartomancy, shush. Fuck around and find out, basically. Is it just preparing for when slavery make a comeback? Yeah, I don't know about that. Like, not about the slavery part, about the Nintendo part. I don't think Nintendo's gonna be able to sit much longer. Man.
Were also too generic as well. Now, Nintendo filed this patent in spring 2024, shortly after the release of Palworld, and, you know, that's when the world's eyebrows collectively went to the sky thinking, well, that's a little bit suspicious. And everyone basically understood that Palworld was a big win. It was a big win that was kind of a spit in Nintendo's face, and this was basically Nintendo trying to claw back ground. Here's what's interesting.
You know how you could have clawed back ground, Nintendo? By just making a fucking good game. And not pissing off your audience. And not attacking people who are making fan games. And not attacking the websites who are hosting said fan games. You literally have done everything in your power to piss off your fans. Oh, and don't even get me started on the tournaments. I don't have a lot of experience with the tournaments, but I know people bitched a ton about the Smash tournaments. You don't give a fuck about any of us. And this is what you're showing. So, have fun with that, Nintendo.
Frey suspects that Pocket Pair actually managed to fight back here. And that's because a third-party submission brought existing mechanics to the patent office's attention. This is where it's interesting. Craftopia, which is a Pocket Pair game, and other games appeared in that submission.
Yeah, so I still think that's so funny. Nintendo one of the examples of a patent that was there using mechanics like that was fucking Craftopia. I have my criticisms of Craftopia. It feels unfinished. It feels unpolished. And it's still in early access after years. It does feel like it got abandoned a little bit. They are adding new stuff, apparently, every so often, but it feels like it's just... I don't know what to make of the game. I don't know how to describe it. Like, it has factory stuff. That Odin didn't know about that before. It has pals. It has pet taming features. It's basically an RPG in many cases too. It gets everywhere. It's all over the place. It doesn't know what it wants to be. The only thing that matters to Nintendo is that it's inspired by Breath of the Wild, and that's about it. You know, Nintendo is so sour that it even technically has the rights over Super Horny Home Bros. Corn movie. Oh my gosh. Well, they tried to pull a stunt in, what was it, Brazil? Where I guess, there's a guy named Mario who started a store, and I guess it's tradition to just, for independently owned stores to just name themselves, like, super name of the owner and then the store. So it ended up being, like, Super Mario Store. And they fucking tried to sue that store in Brazil, Nintendo did. And they lost because the Brazilian courts looked at it and said, "Get the fuck out of here with this retarded shit. Get out of here." W Brazil, honestly.
Has now got to decide what the hell they do next. Basically, they can just walk away from this patent. Or they can approach the patent office and push for a re-review after making some...
Or Nintendo should just fucking bow out of the fucking lawsuit and give up and make good games again. But they won't do that. Because they just fucking appointed their new head of Nintendo. For starters, the new head of Nintendo looks trans, so that's a question mark. Oh shit. Here's the thing, I don't have a problem with trans people. But you can't go around saying that this Devin Pritchard guy, or at least by name. Devin Pritchard, apparently. Let me copy this. Devin Pritchard is an American businesswoman. I'm sorry. Go back to grooming kids. Oh my gosh. But here's the thing. They're from the fucking law department of Nintendo, and they upgraded to fucking chairwoman, whatever. Let me see if I can find this bitch. Let me get you guys a photo. Either super old fucking Keiran here. Either a super old fucking Keiran or not actually woman. I don't know any women named Devin. But that's apparently the person replacing Bowser. I just want to make that clear. Like, and also to make things clear, I don't care if you're trans or not. I just especially hate this fucking person. Because of what they stand for at Nintendo more than anything. More than anything. Bowser? Yeah, the Nintendo of America chairman. Yeah, his actual last name was Bowser. Let's see. Nintendo... God, I can't spell today! Nintendo chairman Bowser. Yeah, this guy. This guy. This guy's stepping down, and then that bitch is stepping up. And she's from the law department in Nintendo, so things are about to get way worse. You know it's about to get worse. Did they sue that guy for his name? Yeah, no. No. Doug Bowser. Specifically. There you go. Gorilla Devon, bam, we got it, damn. She's in the next Mario game? I fucking hope not. I fucking hope not.
Because a re-review is exactly what's going on, and it's what Nintendo does not want to deal with. In covering this, Games for Ace surfaced a second development, and it's that Nintendo's September patent on summoning characters with dual battle systems, which is patent 397, has just seen something
I've always had reservations against my own country's legal system because it always seemed like they were favoring companies and criminals. So this actually surprised me when they said that they actually reviewed it and denied it. Thank fucking God.
Really weird, where the US Patent Office took the unusual step of re-examining it, but not in the normal way. Basically, the director, John A. Squires, ordered an ex parte re-examination of the patent. This happens rarely, so rarely that Games for Ace say that this is the first re-review that they have...
Wait, hold on. An ex parte re-examination was in order because two older publishers' US patent of applications was just filed by Konami? Wait, which games... Wait, which games from Konami? I'm trying to think. If this is about the... This may be his first such order in more than a decade. Wait, which games did they use that would have had summoning mechanics? I mean, obviously Yu-Gi-Oh! Has its own summoning mechanics, but that's also always been framed as a board game and a card game, depending on which angle you want to look at it. Dragon Collector? Do they have a game called Dragon Collector? We're going on all the tangents, guys. I'm sorry. We're probably gonna have to save Guinevere for another time. Oh, it's an actual game. Okay, interesting. I did not know this existed. So, that's good to know. They have vengeance over my place too because we had this connection with Taiwan where they made the Famicom clone called Pegasus. That was a whole 90s affordable console that everyone had, yours truly included. And of course, this Miyamoto Yakuza has had sour farts over this. Completely shit on the region, even if we were always Nintendo over Saga. Jesus. I heard that's the first gacha game. Ah. I had literally never heard of that before, so the more you know.
Tracked in over a decade. So, yeah. Angry Gamers. Seems it actually worked.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's go back to things. So,
because unlike these fucking Karens who try to sit there and be like, oh, look at this vaguely inappropriate video game exists on this platform, Visa. You should go do something about it. Oh, no. Not only are we way more obnoxious about shit, but we're actually smarter than these fucking Karens, because they don't actually know what they're talking about half the time. Literally mid-wit energy, just to the fucking max, on crack.
Found gaps in the original review of the patent application, and he specifically names 2 prior patents. One of them, funnily enough, is a 2019 patent that's held by Nintendo themselves for Tora. And then there's a 2002 patent that is filed under Kaname Yabe. And what matters with this is that the US Patent Office has already granted both of these patents, and they're both patents that describe systems where players direct characters manually or let them operate automatically. That is, of course, key to patent 397. Now, neither is exactly the same as 397, but they could fall under, quote, missing an inventive step. If that inventive step is not there, then, well, it would be bad news for Nintendo. Though that's actually not the only angle, because these could be seen as being prior art. Prior art, of course, that the Patent Office should have considered. So, the office is now going to re-review Patent 397 against these prior ones, and that is a problem for Nintendo. So now they've got 2 months to respond. And what's good here is that this is a case that we thought, and that they thought, was closed. And what the reopening means...
Thank God that it was not a closed shut case instantly. Holy crap. Keiran sees Hans Kuma Musume. Oh my God. Bruh.
Is they'll have to deal with new third-party challenges, with new information that was not previously considered or considered under as much scrutiny. As an example, one thing that really just confused everyone is how little comparative art was involved in the initial application review. It was mostly just other patent considerations. So, basically, this is overall good news. And in terms of material...
Is that normal? To just not submit your own comparisons? Because that doesn't sound normal to me, but I'm not experienced in the patent department, so I'll leave that for YouTube to educate me on.
Real actions, it means that, just like in Japan, someone can now present previous games as evidence. But what if I told you there was something really bizarre about this? And the way in which it's bizarre may actually clue us into why the hell the stupid patent was granted in the first place. So, this all goes against US Patent Office patterns. It goes against basically how they've tended to do things. Now, part of that is because they're absurdly overworked, underfunded, and they are stupidly backlogged.
Oh, yeah.
By backlog, I mean 1.2 million patents. So they have 1.2 million patents to deal with, and a freeze in hiring, which...
Oof. Oh, yeah, wait, that was... No, wait. Okay, no, this is from March 3rd. Because this was like a month ago. That would have absolutely explained like the freeze in hiring. Because the government was closed here for some fucking reason. Apparently the government can close itself for over more than a month. Endanger people's ability to get food, by the way. Specifically people who are depending on stamps. And people who work at the airports weren't getting paid either because of the fucking shutdown. But everyone else who wasn't attached to the government in that way was completely unaffected. Go figure. Life just continued like normal.
Which basically means they just really do have to plow through stuff as quickly as they can, which has likely meant less scrutiny, and that could be part of the reason why Nintendo originally got the patent. Now, Mr. Squires' solution has just been to take over the patent review board's job for himself.
I am assuming direct control.
To be fair, this was a kind of a big fucking deal with Nintendo. Like, Nintendo's a big fucking deal in general. But I wonder why he chose to get involved. Because it seems like he didn't care before. It could also be that the government was such a mess that he felt like he had to step in and take a look at some of the big cases so that they weren't stuck there in limbo forever. You know, that might have been what happened, is that he got contacted by someone from Nintendo that said, hey, listen, we need this sped up. Can you look into this? And so he did, and he's like, oh, this looks like shit. You're not getting this. That would be the best case scenario if that's what actually happened. He's going to war, goddamn.
Anyway, he recently turned down 13 appeals himself, with no explanation and with no public record as to why. Which is absolutely not great for transparency, but it is good for his department's efficiency, and they do have that.
I feel like those 13 were like big fucking cases that were clogging up the system. Maybe. Which, I mean, if that helps people get through the rest of the patents, that'd be good. But who knows?
That humongous backlog to deal with. Now, commenters have suggested that this is all part of a wider move to stop companies from slowing down the patent process with appeals.
Yes.
Basically, that he can kind of go in and smash the thing.
Because they've been abusing this shit for a long time. If they're actually doing that, that would be... That's a great change. That's a good step forward, at least. Just gotta be careful not to let it veer the other way around.
Up. But what it also makes Nintendo is quite an outlier, and it may actually be that a year's worth of negative press has helped move the needle.
Oh my gosh, that fucking...
So, in review, we've...
I thank you for the deer brain, I guess.
got two major setbacks. In Japan, they have been denied, and in America, they're under review. The obvious question then is, what does this actually mean for the wider patent war? This whole saga started off because of Nintendo's palworld lawsuit in Japan. The big question then is, how does this actually impact the case? And the immediate answer is, it will not impact the case directly, but it absolutely could influence it. And I'll start off with the stuff in the US. So, Nintendo is simply just trying to build up their patent portfolio in the US. I mean, the idea that their own 2019 patent and a 23-year-old Konami patent might undermine them is kind of absurd. Perhaps very absurd, but...
Wait, who owns the rights to, God, what is it? Who owns the rights to Dragon Quest? Is that Capcom? Because I feel like Dragon Quest would have been, like, the first monster collector game. Or at least the first big, well-known one. That I can think of, anyways. I can't remember. I don't know if it was Konami or Capcom or someone else. For some reason, my brain is not... Or is that a Square game? I can't remember. Dragon Collection, Konami. Yeah, we reviewed that. I'm talking about Dragon Quest. But yeah. My brain isn't remembering it.
Won't really impact their ongoing legal cases. It's basically just a public loss for Nintendo, or at least a road bump. But if anything, it will make Nintendo more careful about their US patent filings, because they obviously won't want this to happen again. But what is different is the Japanese situation, albeit in a little bit of a complicated way. So, the denied patent that we've talked about today in Japan is actually not one of the 3 patents that Nintendo is using against Pocket Pair. You might be wondering, okay, well, how could it impact the case? Well, because it's actually related to 2 of the patents that Nintendo are using in the case.
Okay.
Now, Nintendo and the Pokemon Company's 3 patents, used in that case, have all been granted by the Japanese Patent Office. And they're not currently under a review process like Patent 397 is over in America, but they soon could be. And you'll understand why whenever I kind of walk you through the connection here. One of those granted patents, one of the 3 being used in the case, is actually derived from today's denied patent. Basically, it built on the same denied patent to create something new. And since the Japanese Patent Office denied the foundational patent, Well, this actually does create an opening. And it means that the judge in the palworld case can now question whether that derived patent should have been granted at all. So
yeah, that's actually really good. Because I'm gonna be honest, part of me was always scared for Pocket Bear because I was under the impression that the Japanese courts were bought out completely, and I was just like not hopeful for them at all, that there would be like no sense of justice at all. But it seems like I am at least somewhat wrong in this. It looks like they are actually taking this seriously enough that they're not just convicting whoever the fuck is getting convicted. But also, I think some of that is that I think the reason why the conviction rate is so high is because of the worldview of the Japanese people itself. I think I don't fully understand how Japanese courts work. I assume they have a jury. I'm assuming they probably don't. I don't know. And I think the perception is that things are not as black and white as they were once perceived to be. And I think people are actually taking in things into consideration and actually thinking about these things, which is good. I feel like people have not been doing this for long enough. Square Enix, okay, that's what I was trying to figure out. Opening you felt for it, Jesus. Yakuza, Gundam, Godzilla, yeah, okay.
What that means is not that Nintendo will lose, but it does mean that there is now a strong avenue for Pocket Bear to push, and it means that Nintendo's case has just got a lot more complicated. In theory, at least in Japan, this is the system working as intended, right? Where Nintendo attempt to patent things in their game, challengers then bring in evidence from other art, and then Nintendo cannot secure their patent. In a system that is not being gutted by executive oversight, unlike over in the US, that's how things should work, and that's, I suppose, why there's good news over in Japan. As for the US situation, well, a patent argued to be inappropriate is now facing re-examination. But how we got there is extremely messy, because it is effectively a civil servant consolidating their power and eliminating transparency, denying due process to the claimants involved. That is a risky thing, even just in terms of...
Furby. Yeah, he's got a point. Like, he's basically just looking at this and saying no. At the same time, if they aren't being allowed to hire more people for the patent processing because of some government fuckery, and they have certain cases like the Nintendo case clogging up the works, I think him intervening was probably for the best in the long run, but I'm not sure.
Legitimacy, but I guess what's odd is that in this case, that consolidated power has actually produced more oversight instead of less, because the US Patent Office has basically been kind of screwed with a humongous backlog and hiring freeze. Now, the story is ultimately not over here. The court decisions that will, well, matter the most are actually still months away, and any kind of resolution is further out again. But I think today has actually marked something. It's a loss for Nintendo in Japan and a major roadblock in the US. We're seeing their patent strategy have cracks on both sides of the Pacific. I personally think a lot of what's going on with patents in games is a great corporate strategy, but not exactly great for games as an art form. So ultimately, I think this one is actually a win. And you know what? What I will do is leave you with something neat.
And honestly, I think that's... It is a bit complicated, but I think what the guy did, if he was eliminating a couple big nasty cases to help speed up the rest of the work, then honestly good for him. Because he may have inadvertently helped a lot of people with this one. Like, because a lot of people were upset about this fucking patent. So, thank fucking God. Hopefully he doesn't overextend his reach and become a pain in the ass, because that'll be annoying. With a shit-eating face like his, I can't guarantee that he will... continue to be helpful to the American people, but we'll see. He's gonna start World War III with a face like that. He might. Jesus.